Hey, what's going on, my good people? I had to come back with this video right here because I wanted to focus on Nazeer. Now, I know a lot of y'all have put him on the chopping block. Y'all came for his head. I get it. But I'm going to be honest with y'all. When I heard his video for the very first time, my first thought was, I believe him. And I knew at that moment we didn't have all the details, but something in my spirit was telling me I believe him. And now we've gotten more details. And even with those details, I still believe him. And again, I ain't trying to push no narrative. We don't do that over here. My job is to give you the details. And if after this video you still feel the same way about him, I respect it. But you still have to pay attention to the details. So, come on, ride with me.
That I went into a house to see a friend that I knew for 9 years, unresponsive, on vacation, 2,000 miles away, in another country. It makes no sense. That's my first time out the country. I spent money on a passport, I spent money on clothes and all that to put myself in a murder. Because I know the truth. Me and God know the truth. But when the truth come out, I really don't want to hear nothing from nobody.
Now, we know that Shanquella and her friends went to Cabo and they made it down there October the 28th on a Friday. When it was supposed to be a group of 7, but on Friday, only 6 showed up on Friday. Nazeer is not with them. And we know that there were some videos that surfaced that showed them, having a good time, kicking it. And if you pay attention to those videos that they took Friday night, the night of the 28th, Nazeer is not in them. Pay attention.
How we do it, because we used to drink motherfucking
drink.
one.
Winter, come on now.
David, you be working.
Deja, we know you weren't working on upper body when you was working out. Come on, let me see what you got, Winter.
Three.
Winter, what is that? What a card at, man. These people here.
Come on, Lisa, grab a card.
Now, we just saw them partying, kicking it. And within hours, things took a turn for the worst. Now, all of a sudden, we got this fight between Dejanay and Shanquella. Now, we don't know what started the fight, what caused the fight. All we got right now is speculation. That's it. That's all. But there was a fight. We saw it. We saw the video. And, when you look at the silhouette on the wall, and that's why I put these pictures up. When you look at the silhouette, it looks early. You know what I mean? It looks early. And then we got Shanquella who's naked during this fight. And then we got Dejanay who is look like she's in maybe a 2-piece like pajama set with a whole bonnet on. You understand what I'm saying? So to me, and this is just my opinion, it seems like this fight happened early. Right? And so when I went looking for the sunrise and sunset in Cabo on October the 29th, which would have been early Saturday morning, the sun rose at 7:22, sun set at 6:43. Now, like I said, it looks early to me. What do y'all think about that? I asked that because during this fight, Nazeer is not there. I don't believe he's there, but he's on his way. Nazeer went from North Carolina and he had to travel to Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas to catch the next flight. Now, he went as far as giving us his boarding pass information because everybody was on his neck. Everybody was on his ass. And he thought that this would help prove he was not there. And if you think about it, it does. And I will say this because I feel like a lot of people are running with some information and they're leaving out certain details. And one detail to take note of is the time difference. So if he went from North Carolina to Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas, to Cabo, he's passed through 3 time zones. Now, before we get into his flight information, I think it's important for us to go over the time zones. Now, Nazeer would have been traveling from Charlotte, North Carolina, which is Eastern Standard Time. Okay? And I took these screenshots last night to show y'all the difference in the time zones. Now, he would have started in Eastern Standard Time, and then when he flew to Dallas, he would then be in Central Standard Time, which is an hour behind Eastern. Okay? It's an hour behind. We don't know when he got down there. We don't know. But we do know he made it there so he can catch his flight to Cabo. Now, Cabo is Mexican Pacific Standard Time. And if you notice, it's 2 hours behind Eastern Time, and it's 1 hour behind Central. Pay attention. So when you look at the boarding pass that Nazeer put out here, at the bottom in blue, you see where it says he was supposed to board the plane at 9:45. It was flight AA 479, and it was going to depart at 10:30 a.m. It's got his seat information, everything right here, okay? When I went to American Airlines to look at the flights, if you notice, it says Saturday, October the 29th, 10:25 a.m. Central Time. And then it has 5 minutes early. That matches with when he was supposed to depart at 10:30. They're saying they departed 5 minutes early. So the flight left Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas at 10:25. Okay? So when he got to Cabo, it's saying that he arrived there at 12:19, which was 4 minutes early. So understand this. When he left Dallas, Fort Worth, Texas at 10:30, it was 9:30 in Cabo. Now, this flight was a 3-hour flight. Okay? It was. It was a 3-hour flight. But the fact that Nazeer crossed into a different time zone, he lost an hour in the sky. Nazeer's flight landed in Cabo at 12:19. And that's Cabo time, which means it would have been, 2:19 Eastern Standard Time. Now, one of the things that I looked into was whether or not your phone automatically changes over when you enter into a new time zone. And with the new phones that we have, it should. It's supposed to. But I read that if your location is off on your phone, you have to manually set the time. So I don't know where he was at, as far as his phone goes. I don't know what he did. But we know he landed at 12:19. And then don't forget, you got to get your luggage, unless he had it just to carry on. But you got to get your luggage. You got to wait for that. There's time there at the airport once you land. Oh, and just so you know, when I went looking for the flight schedule for American Airlines, what I found out was that on October the 29th, there was only one flight going to Cabo from Fort Worth, Texas. Just one. And it was the one that he was on. Know that. Once Nazeer landed and collected his things, he made a phone call to his friends. This is what he told us.
Yes, I left on Saturday. The trip was from Friday to Monday, October 28th, 29th, 30th. 31st going home. Didn't even make it there. So I get off my flight around 2:16 Mexico time. I guess we 2 hours ahead. 2:16 p.m.
Okay, so let's pause right there because I feel like this is where his story started to confuse people when he started putting these timestamps out. Okay, now y'all just heard him say his flight landed at 2:16. We know that's not true because of the flight information. We know he landed at about 12:15ish. Okay, so if we look at the time that he landed, if we go back to the time, 2 hours ahead would be about 12:16, 12:20. So at that moment, I'm like, is he referring to the Eastern Standard Time? Because he even made it a point to say, well, it's Mexico time, we 2 hours ahead. So I was just, nobody understood where he was getting 2:16 from. And instantly people was like, he a liar. He lying. And I was like, well, okay, well, wait a minute. Because again, I feel like we're looking at different time zones. Now, I don't know, let's say, let me ask y'all this. If you go to a different time zone and take a picture or a video in that time zone, it should have that time zone stamp on it, correct? As far as time. But if you go back home, will it still have that same time stamp? And I asked that because when we were covering the Kanika case, that was one of the things that was throwing us off, the timestamps. And what we learned was that depending on who was watching it, where they were watching it, where they took the screenshots, that timestamp would be on there. So if you're in Eastern Standard Time, let's say he took a picture, right? And where he at is 12:16, but whoever took a screenshot of that picture, let's say back home in North Carolina, it's not going to say 12:16. It's going to say 2:16, their time, Eastern Standard Time. So I think he started to confuse the timestamps. And in turn, it made him look like a liar. So now let's listen to what he had to say about what happened when he landed.
I make a phone call. To everybody who were there. Like, I need the address. So during this phone call, that's the first time I heard that Quella wasn't feeling good. They told me that Quella was sick and she was showing signs of alcohol poisoning. They got that because one of their friends told them that they were seeing signs. So she was showing symptoms of alcohol poisoning.
So when Nazeer landed, he called them because he said he needed the address. Because he was going to have to get a ride there. So he called them trying to get the address. On that phone call is when they told him that something was wrong with Shanquella and that she was showing signs of alcohol poisoning. So what that told me was when he landed, Shanquella was already in bad shape, y'all.
When I got there, it took us an hour. My taxi driver, it took us an hour to get to the villa because there was traffic. I don't know why. So I got to the villa around 3:26.
So from the time he left the airport until he got to the villa, it took an hour. And the driver told him it was because of traffic. Now, if you look at this map right here, from the airport to the villa, it takes 34 to 38 minutes, depending on the route that you take. So for that time to be stretched out to an hour due to traffic, I can go with that. That makes sense to me. You understand what I'm saying? But the problem is, he said that he got there at 3:26. Another timestamp, 3:26. Now, we know he landed at 12:16. So from 12:16 to 3:26, we're talking a little over 3 hours. We know that there's an hour drive. 3 minus 1 is 2. So there's 2 hours unaccounted for. That's why every time I hear him say a time, I'm wondering what time zone is he using. You understand what I'm saying?
I didn't sign that guest list. First of all, the guest list that my name is on. Go try to find my signature. Hold on, where's my RG? I didn't sign it. And the only reason why my name was on there because you had to have your name on the list to get past the gate. If your name wasn't on the list, they would not let you up to your villa.
So he gets to the villa, okay? Now he's making issue of this card right here because he said he didn't sign it. And guess what? I believe him. Because he's the one who's coming a day late. It made sense for them to automatically put his name on there just so he wouldn't have problems when he got to the gate. Now, when you look at this card, if you look at the handwriting, it looked like at least one person signed multiple people's names. Look at the handwriting. It's the same. You understand what I mean? But I don't think there was nothing wrong with that. I just feel like, he the birthday boy. He coming a day late. They just wanted to make sure he didn't have a problem getting in once he got there.
Okay, so when I get in there, I go in, I see Quella, I see she chilling, I put her on her side. I go out and make that video where I'm talking about I'm here. That I Quella get up. I'm thinking like, damn, we got stuff to do. ATVs, a boat, dinner. I missed the chef.
So when he gets there, he's telling us that he made a video when he got there. And understand this, just like his flight information, all of this can be verified. All he got to do is turn over that video and they're going to do what we're doing right here, right now. Put it in order. That's it. That's all. Now, one of the things that he said that did bother me, I'm going to be honest with y'all, it did bother me, was the fact that he said when he got there, she was chilling. That bothered me because we know what injuries she sustained, a broken neck and a cracked spine. So while he think she's just chilling, actually, she can't move.
Quella wasn't found dead. She wasn't found dead. The maids found her slumped over the toilet in her room. That's what they did find her, slumped over her toilet in her room. That's what I was told. Quella was not dead when I got there.
So when he gets there, Shanquella is still alive. Suffering, but she's still alive. And those little friends that was already there told him that the maids found her slumped over the toilet in her room. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. I don't believe that story. I need to see that in writing. I need to see a police statement, something with that in it. Because I don't believe that story. But that's what the friends told him. So he wasn't there when the maid supposedly found her. The friends told him that.
So when I got there, she was in the game room. They told me she was not feeling good, so I instantly go to her, put her on her side, get a bag, and all of that. So I'm sitting right next to her the whole time. I was crossing my heart, I hope it's out. I was there the whole time in the game room, and then they was talking about cooking, so we made it to the living room. I cut on some soft music, sitting with her, rubbing her head, just chilling, waiting until the nurse came, because that's what I was informed that was happening. At first, I was told that it was a male coming, and then a female showed up.
So when Nazeer gets there, he's trying to comfort Shanquella, not knowing the severity of her injuries. And while he's trying to comfort her, her friend's talking about cooking. Okay? He tells us that they moved from the game room to the living room. And it sounded as if Shanquella was moved. So my question was this: did you have to carry her? I'm sure you did. I'm sure you did. They moving her around. Again, not knowing the severity of her injuries. At some point, he was informed that the nurse was on the way. And from the police report, it shows that the nurse was summoned to the villa at 2:13 p.m. 2:13. So it sounds like, did he come after that? Or did they decide to call the nurse once he got there?
I went in there with my bag, put it down, went to the game room, went to the living room, stayed there. Worst time of my life. I don't know nothing. I didn't sit and make no alibi. I didn't even have time. I got there an hour later. The nurse came in the door.
So within an hour of him getting there, he said the nurse came. Now we know they called the nurse at 2:13. So an hour later is what? About 3:13, 3:15?
New details on Shanquella Robinson's death. This new information is from Metropolimex, a local news outlet in Mexico. Its article is, of course, written in Spanish, so all information is coming from a translation of that article. But the news outlet says the report from Mexican authorities shows a doctor came to the hotel and tried to revive Shanquella around 3:15 p.m. on October 29th.
So it was confirmed through the police reports that a nurse did show up at about 3:15. And when the nurse got there, they found Shanquella with stable vital signs, but dehydrated, unable to communicate verbally, and appearing to be inebriated. And so it sounds like to me that by the time the nurse got there, she found Shanquella the same way Nazeer did.
I tried to get her to talk to me and all that, but it was none of that.
So Shanquella is doing nothing. She's not talking, moving, nothing. And the nurse, they said that the friends told the nurse that she had just drunk a lot of alcohol. So everybody's just making it seem like she just drunk as hell. Okay. And then the decision was made to give her an IV.
The nurse came in the door, tried to help Quilla, tried to put some salines in her, but her energy, she didn't have no electrolytes, her oxygen was low, so she couldn't find them. Y'all don't understand what I went through. Y'all don't understand, y'all won't understand. I didn't see a fight. I didn't know it was a fight. I didn't know it was a video. I didn't know they did any harm, anything. I went in there and told it was alcohol poisoning, so that's what I helped her as.
So again, it sounds as if the friends are wanting everybody to believe that it's alcohol poisoning. And now let me ask y'all this, because they stuck with that story. They even told Nazeer the same story. Do y'all think maybe these friends, so-called friends, actually thought it was something to do with the alcohol? Because the injuries that she had are not visible to the outside. So maybe none of them understood the severity of her injuries. None of them.
I didn't really notice the knot on her head until the nurse pointed it out. I did see the bump on her lip. She did have a blood vessel bust in her eye, and that's it. But I didn't really go in there like, damn, y'all jumped her, y'all beat her ass. What's going on?
So the injuries that could be seen was a busted lip, a busted eye, and a knot on her head. And we all seen that fight. And I'm going to be honest with y'all. That's why I don't believe that maid story about finding her in the bathroom, slumped over the toilet, all that. I don't believe none of that. I don't. Because I think that was put out there to explain the visible injuries. The busted lip, the busted eye, the knot on her head. Because you would think that if I found you on the bathroom floor. The information from police says that the doctor was there for close to an hour when Shanquella began having a seizure. So if we know the doctor, nurse, whatever, got there at 3:15, so at about 4:15, now she's having a seizure. And it's at that moment, in the police report, it says that somebody by the name of Winter Donovan called 911. But then it says, in the meantime, while they're waiting on ambulance, in the meantime, the patient presented with difficulty breathing and a lowered pulse, and they gave her rescue breaths. The doctor, along with a friend, began administering CPR at 4:49 p.m. Now, let me just say this, because at one point, Nazeer spoke with another guy, okay? And he told this guy that he gave mouth-to-mouth, which is a form of CPR. When I say people was clowning him, he lied. But the police report confirmed what he said. It said the doctor along with a friend. And my money would be on Nazeer because he was the only one helping her or trying to help her from the moment he got there. He had just got there. My money would definitely be on him. He didn't lie. He helped with the CPR on Shanquella. It's in our face.
No sense. I gotta put stuff together, but I gotta stop believing everything off the internet, man.
I can't imagine what he's going through. I feel bad for him because he thought he was doing the right thing by coming out and speaking up, only to be put on the chopping block. In my opinion, those people that was down there before he got there, they told him nothing. I don't think he learned the truth until he got back. And I can't imagine how he would be feeling knowing that the whole time he was down there, what little time he spent down there, he was trying to comfort her. And then she died. Oh, man. And let me tell you something. He's telling y'all, look, I got timestamps. Go back and watch his whole video again. I know I chopped it up in this, but go back and watch it again with different eyes. This man, he don't talk like a guilty man. He don't. And it's all going to come out. Know that. But I promise you, this will be a birthday he never forgets. Ever.
I say it every day. I think about it every day. It's not, well, I can never forget. Y'all won't let me forget because y'all think I'm responsible for it. But I just don't understand why. And y'all don't have everything. Now I'm looking like a bad guy. I'm tired. I'm fed up. I haven't slept. I don't know. I have to look over my shoulder because I don't know who's back there. I have the most respect for Miss Robinson, Quella, everybody. Like y'all welcome me with open arms. Listen, heard me out. All of that. I didn't feel like anything was a problem. I respect that, and I want you to get justice for your daughter. I don't know. I can't question God's plan, but he has a way. He has a way, and I'm telling you, I'm putting it all in His hands.